adapt and innovate, is that part of who you are, or is that something that you've had to um,
Yeah,
embrace?
no, I'd say so. I was quite fortunate to land a job in my previous profession in a small business.
Mhm.
So there was only four of us in the company.
And what did you do, Aaron, in your previous life before? Yeah.
A coastal engineer, actually. So yeah, I've always been by the coast, doing projects in the water and by the water, and so we did a lot of things like artificial reefs, coastal protection, environmental studies. Yeah, I mean a lot of stuff for beachfront hotels and that kind of. I've always been drawn to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very small company. There was only four of us, so it immediately puts a lot of responsibility on each of the employees. So while you were, I mean, I was the Dubai office for quite a few years.
Oh, right. How did you find Dubai? Because I was living in Bahrain for a while, so I was an hour away from you. How did you find Dubai, and how do you find the Middle East and comparing it to the Caribbean lifestyle-wise? Is there a
Uh,
lot of adaptation that you have to do?
yeah, it's a little apples and oranges
Mm.
scenario. Um, yeah, the Middle East I was attracted to because of their um, innovation and their willingness to give things a try. I first moved there in 2008, and like things were just happening. Um, Coming from, I did a little bit of work in Australia, which is a completely different mentality where everything's super regulated, which is, good in one sense, but also a little bit hindering to innovation.
Mhm.
And then when you go somewhere like Dubai, where it's all about innovation, and everything that they were doing at that time was, what can we do that's new? What can we do that's bigger and better and faster? And I mean, that, attracted me. So I guess, yeah, I've always been interested in innovation. And so coming to Grenada, where obviously life's a lot slower, but there's still like huge room for innovation here,
Right.
on so many levels, um, which maybe like it'll just take something as big as this corona pandemic for things to really kick into gear here. But um, yeah, so that's kind of, yeah, how the innovation streak has kind of followed me here to this island.
That's brilliant. Maria, did you have anything you wanted to ask Aaron in
Yeah, I
particular?
just wanted to ask about the hand sanitizer actually. So, I was curious how I know it's a small island, but how did you, so you made it, but how did you manage to distribute it or actually make it so that you can distribute it to even care home, or is it in shops? Is it in shops to buy as well and markets and?
Um, ours never made it to the shops because
Okay.
there are a couple of big rum distilleries here on the island,
Oh, I see. Yes.
um, who just have way more manpower and capability than we
Right.
do.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
like,
see.
when we were making, 40, 50 bottles at a time, they can make 400,
Yeah.
500 bottles at a time.
Oh, right.
So it's just like a completely different ball game. So they really have that whole distribution thing already set up,
Right.
and made more sense for them, to then take it on and hit the shelves. But when we started, we just do everything by hand. So
Mm.
hand pick the aloe
Salad.
vera, hand blend it, hand bottle it, then hand deliver it to where we needed to deliver it to.
Okay. How big's your team then?
In Grenada, there's just 3 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty small.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
And you talked about other products that you were hoping to. Oh, actually, I wanted to ask. I know this is probably it's a question that I ask all people that make alcohol. So, what about the tasting process? How do you
Yeah.
know
Do
what
you have to do a
flavors,
lot of
grape
drinking?
flavors?
Is there always a gin o'clock at
Yeah,
5 o'clock?
That was one of the fun parts.
yeah.
Dangerous. So, I mean, we started a couple of years ago,
Mm,
and the first year basically was trial and error.
yeah.
A lot of error. Yeah, a
Mm,
lot of errors. We, I mean, obviously, as the first time you try anything, you know, there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
huge learning curve. So there was a lot of batches in there that, you know, weren't that good, but we didn't sell them either. So, I
yeah.
mean, one of the things we had to do was, you know, keep everything super small and super
Mm,
tight, budget wise, just so we could have that time to really experiment and really come up with a product that we were happy with. And so for the last, almost the last year, I mean, our main product's basically been the same. You know, once we worked out the recipe and the production process, it's fairly consistent exercise now. There is still, I mean, because it's so small,
mm,
um, every time we make a batch, you physically have to be there to be checking it
mm,
throughout the course of the production because, even things like the time of year, the sunlight comes in from a window at a different angle, so the room itself like heats up at a different rate,
mm.
Oh,
which can affect the way that the distillation process is happening. So there's
wow.
like all these like really intricate,
So it's very sensitive.
Mm,
yeah, and I mean because we use um, a lot of fresh ingredients. So
okay.
like one of the, for instance, we use a Seville orange, which is local here on the island,
Mm,
and I mean you can peel one orange, but it's not exactly the same as an orange from another tree or an orange from
mm,
another time of year. So while the recipe is set at X amount of orange peels per batch, you still have to keep checking and keep testing and doing it throughout the process to make sure that you are actually getting the same flavors and the same
mm.
consistency through each of the batches. So yeah, it's a continually
Refining.
refining
Mm.
process.
Yeah.
Um,
So, Aaron, would you say you're not only gin connoisseurs, but you're nutmeg connoisseurs and you're aloe vera
Right.
connoisseurs and oranges connoisseurs of oranges, and because your taste buds, you're trying to find that sweet spot, I guess.
yeah, literally. Um, yeah, I definitely wouldn't call myself a chocolate connoisseur.
Uh-huh.
Grenada's famously known for being one of the best chocolate producers.
I heard that, yeah.
So, I mean, it's actually in the middle of the Grenada Chocolate Festival month at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So they're celebrating all things chocolate here. So we actually did a little, because it has to be digital this year, unfortunately. But normally, it's quite a big attraction where people can go out to the cocoa farms and you can see the different ways that they produce it and the different products that you can make out of it. So one of the farms, which is just 15 minutes up the road from us, is where we get our cocoa from. And, you know, so they're having a tough time too, obviously, because no one's here buying chocolate. But, you know, my chocolate tasting palate, and, you know, the other guy, his name's also Aaron, who runs that chocolate farm, is, you know, he's on a much different level to me. So I like to say we're maybe you know, a little bit of experience of all of these different things that come together to make, you know, our product.